Welcome, everybody. I'm here with the gorgeous, super talented, and very dear Daniela Dormer. I mean, we've just been chatting. I'm so sorry. We could have had a longer interview. How are you, Daniela?
I'm really well. How are you?
Oh, great. We did have a bit of a catch up. I have to confess. We have to confess, don't we? So
We have. We have been chatting, yes.
we have about so many things. So we don't have as much time today, but we're going to speak about the ABIA, Australian Beauty Industry Award submissions and possibilities for people. And you have submitted now for the last 8 years, haven't you? And had great success.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We have had a lot of success.
Yeah, and what I would like to do is use this time to support people to understand, because Linda has shared this in interviews, with how important how important a submission can be and what it's really truly about. And you shared this with me just before. So let's open that up for people that, like some people think, oh, but I couldn't submit, I don't think I would win. It's not about the winning. And I say that with all my heart because it really isn't about the winning. The winning is lovely. Let's be honest. It's beautiful to be acknowledged. But there's something prior, isn't there, Daniela, that's so important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to hear it. I want everyone to hear it directly from you. Tell us.
Well, I'll go way back because when I first purchased my salon 10 years ago, a dear friend of mine brought to my attention that there was this award platform called ABIA. And I had never entered any competitions, nor did I ever think I ever would. It was not even on the radar for me. So one day when he told me about it and he said, I really think you should enter. I really think, your work is really great. Your results are amazing. Promise me you'll enter. And I left it on the side burner for a while. And then one morning I woke up and I just thought, well, why not me? I'll give it a go. I'll get out of my comfort zone and put pen to paper, which is what I did. And I knew no one really in the industry at all. I was a sole trader for 20 years, as we discussed, and 10 years prior to that, I had 2 salons. But I wasn't a person that really mixed with a lot of industry people. I kept to myself. I was a sole trader for such a long time, as I said, and it isolates you quite a bit. So for me to do a submission was a big deal. And it took me a good 3 months to do one submission, and that was consistently working on it. So I really put my heart and soul into it. Fortunately, I mean, I went to the ABIA evening and met some beautiful people. I still remember, and I've said this many times, Gay Wardle was sitting in the front row of the ballroom as I was called on stage as I won my award, my very first award in 2015. And all I could see was this beautiful smile beaming at me. And I thought, I need to meet this lady. And it was, the rest was history. And sort of meeting all those lovely people through the ABIA platform was the beginning, really, of a journey that I'm still on. And every year after that, we continue to enter the awards, the salon team and myself. And over the years, we've won nearly one category every year. Some years we haven't won anything at all, and that's okay. But what I've really learned through the whole process is actually sitting down and doing your submissions year after year not only encourages you to improve to the next year, but it shows you how far you've come and what you've created and what you've been able to achieve. So without that platform, I don't think I would have realized what my capabilities were or how far I could build my business. So I encourage so many local salons to enter. Friends that own salons, I encourage them to enter also. And you just never know the possibilities. Anything's possible.
I think it's wonderful what you're saying. And, I mean, Linda's actually shared this in interviews I've done with her. Like I said earlier, really the deep insight that a salon owner gets when she starts diving in, like you've got to be a deep diver in this world to get, especially now, because we spoke about the AI sort of situation too. You've really got to be a deep diver to go in and look at your business with different eyes, because when you're actually outside of your business looking in on it, so you can write this submission, you really are in such a reflective place. You're considering, you're looking at the year that just went by. You're considering not only your financial situation, but so many other things that come that it draws out of you, aren't you? It's an amazing. Actually, the other day I found I was going through Google Drive as one does, and you try to keep it tidy in all of its little systems, but oh, heaven forbid, it's very difficult. So I was going through Google Drive, and I came across my something that I'd written that wasn't for that particular thing, but it was for something else. And I read it and I just thought, oh my gosh, I thought, what space was I in when I was writing it? It's amazing because it opens up so much for you to see and to be able to go back to other submissions that you've done and look at historically where you were, where you've come from, where you are now. It's a phenomenal thing. And we need now to be inspired. We need to inspire ourselves. We need to be able to look back and go, you know what, yes, I can continue. Because, yesterday I was in a Facebook group. I will bring it up, sorry, because I have to, Daniela. And I was reading this post, this thread, and some people were saying, sales are down, and numbers are down, and I thought, really? And I never really ever experienced that in my businesses because I just thought differently, I think, and I maneuvered differently. And when I knew that it was time to get out, I sold and I got out, right? But I think that when I read the thread, I could really see some people are really suffering right now, and others are thriving. So when you look at that, it's like we need to stay inspired. And it's very easy to sort of collude with people that are going through something similar to you and staying there and believing the truth of that. Anything that can take you out of it, even if it's an ABIA, it's so hard to say that, ABIA submission is worth its weight in gold. It takes you out of that. And this is where I think that, stop going and finding people to confirm what may currently be going on in your business. I always say to people, look at the ones that are shining brightly. Yeah, just focus on the ones that are doing great. And there always are, it doesn't mean that we don't have our ups and downs. Everybody has that. That's fine. We can't stop that, right? But would you agree with that right now we need to truly be inspired more than ever before, really, I think.
And I think a wonderful thing to do and is what I've learned with the submissions is, often you'll read a question in the submission. It might be, what's your greens policy for your salon? I can remember the first time I answered that question, I thought, oh gosh, I don't think I do a lot for greens policy at all. And then I started doing bullet points on a piece of paper. Oh, yes, I do that. Oh, yeah. By the end of the writing process, I had a page full of things that I do for greens policy. It made me realize, I have got a lot to talk about in my business. And I also think as well, I hear a lot of people say, oh, my business doesn't do very well. I can't enter an award platform. I wouldn't have a chance of winning. It's not always about your money profit. Yes. It's about your business and how you create your revenue and what inspires others when they're reading your submission. So I don't like hearing people say, oh, I don't enter because my business isn't anything like yours. Everyone's business is relevant. Everyone's business is relevant. And everyone should have a go at entering. It's wonderful for your business and for your team. It's wonderful for your team. Oh, wonderful.
I agree. And I think that there's there's an authenticity that's required. You know, I judge the Australian Beauty Industry Awards, and I've been judging them for the last 4 years. And so for me, I'm not focused on one thing. Like, it's a very holistic thing for me. I'm not sure if I should be sharing it, but I don't think I'm saying anything I shouldn't be saying. But I'm being honest. It's really about authenticity. It's about what is the contribution factor, you know, and where is the heart of that human, and how they're holding. Because the beauty industry is so powerful. When I think of the power that we as women have in this industry, it amazes me. It's remarkable. You know, we think, oh, I'm a beauty therapist. You know, when I hear people say that, sometimes I think, you don't really feel it, do you? You don't really know how powerful your value, you don't really get it. Because I hear it all the time. And I think that it's almost like transforming the value that a beauty therapist has of herself, that I love so much. And I love doing that inside of TrueBrow. That's one of the key things. You know, I take these women that come in and they're beauty professionals, and then they become these unbelievable specialists, that it's like a transcendence, you know, it's just a natural movement. It's kind of like what you're doing. Like, actually look at what you're doing, you know, what you've become, and really get it inside of your own heart. So for me, when I'm looking at things like that in any, not just for the ABIAs, I'm looking for the heart of the situation. I'm looking at everything very, very holistically, and I'm looking at the human being. I'm not looking at a number, right? Because anyone can have great numbers. They can, yeah. There's so much more to it. So I absolutely agree with you. I think it's really important that we encourage girls to just step in, explore. And when you just said before, what you just said before was perfect. You said, I started writing down all these things that I do for the planet, right? How I'm supporting, you know, how eco-friendly we are. And
without even knowing that we were.
Without even realizing, do you know that you then were almost like compelled to look at, becomes a perfect blog article for your business, a perfect marketing that should be on your website. You know, it's like you never would have even thought of that if you weren't asked the question. So it's really quite a phenomenal thing what Linda and the team have done. And I mean, I'm always floored by what they do. Like the nights, I just think everyone just go, like book a ticket, even if you don't want to put in a submission this year, you don't feel confident enough, book a ticket and go to this event, because it's like the Oscars. It's like unbelievable.
It is. It's a magnificent night. I just absolutely love it. It's one of the best nights of the year for me, and we've made it an annual event in our salon. We spend 3 nights at the Star together, my team and I, and we go to Expo together. I've been fortunate enough the last 4 years to speak at Expo, and the team always come and watch me, and it's a real team bonding experience as well. And like I said, we don't always win an award. People, you know, have this perception that we always win. We don't always win. There have been many years that we haven't won, but it actually makes me look at my business in a critical way to improve, so that next year I can enter again and build on what I had, you know, submitted the year before. So it's really important not to be disheartened if you don't bring a trophy home. I mean, it's wonderful to be around like-minded people in the room, networking and having fun. It's our night of nights. It's like the Logies when, you know, all the TV presenters come together. I mean, it's exactly the same. But we're a little bit more glamorous, really, aren't we?
Well, it really is phenomenal. I mean, that's where we met, didn't we? Well, we met online first, but we actually met. We met
in the ladies' room. In the ladies' room.
In the ladies' room. Tap, 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 tap. Thinking, who's that?
That's right.
But I think being who you are too, Daniela, I want to share, I'd like to share this with our audience. Look at this beautiful woman. She loves what she does. She's passionate. She is very solution oriented. It's what I love about a human being that is always looking for solutions. And I want this to, even if this is the one takeaway from this short little conversation, do not collude, but it is like a collusion, with other human beings that are that are supporting your stories inside of you that are not supporting you thriving in the world and being of impact and fulfilling your mission and your purpose. Don't do that. Hear what they have to say, accept that they're sharing, but go and find the bright sparks. These are the women I bring to you. Find the bright sparks that are shining no matter what. Right? This is, and Daniela, you're one of these people for me in my world. I love that. I love that you can stand up and say, give it a go. This is what you'll learn. Be inspired. I mean, these are the women that the beauty industry, all these young beauty professionals need to be looking up to and going, hang on a minute, look what she's doing. Why am I going to think about
and if I can do it, you can do it. Exactly. And this is what I say to them all the time. Exactly. You know, the sky is the limit. You've just got to get yourself into a mind set that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it and you really work hard at moving forward with it all.
You know, the other thing yesterday that we are going to have to close in a few minutes, but the other thing yesterday that I actually read was this one particular salon owner that was sharing that she's been discounting because it's so hard right now and she wants to survive. And she was discounting so much. I thought to myself, you're just not making money. You know, there's no point. And she was really pushing this point. I want to say to the beauty professionals, stop discounting. Stop diminishing your value. Like, you change. So instead of lowering your prices, I'm not going to use that word. I want you to transcend and transform the way you feel about what you offer. Like, get a better understanding of who you are, what you mean to another human being, how you're contributing, elevate your, I did it, I used that word, that word, you know, what did we say? Every time you see the word elevate, you've got some artificial intelligence thing spitting it out. Just know that, girls. Just keep an eye on that word.
Yes, yes.
So, but see, it's like natural for me, I'm just saying it. So I think that it's really, really important to, instead of going down into this spiral, go up and think, how can I transform? How do I become of more value? How do I have, why would they choose me? Not, oh, they'll choose me because I'm the cheapest. I feel sad, you know, when I see that. And all these, you know, let's just give out all these value packs. It's just, value packs are fine. I have no problem with that if they make sense. They have to make sense. The numbers have to make sense. Otherwise, you're pushing yourself into a really difficult corner. And I've seen businesses almost go under because their cash flow just can't handle these huge value packs they keep putting out to people. It all has to make sense. But look at your value. Become the therapist, that person that people want to choose, not because you're sinking down into, you know, discounting. I don't care what the economic climate is like. I don't know about you, Daniela, but I just don't think of it. I just know that in the center of that, women want to come to me. I know that. And I have to identify who they are, and then I have to reach for them. And have you got something to share before we wrap up for today about that?
I think I agree with you wholeheartedly about not discounting. We never discount. We value add, but we never discount. And I think when you start discounting, then it's going to be expected. And often people think if something is too cheap, then it's not going to be a good service. So you have to be very careful. It's a fine line there. So yeah, really look at your discounting policy. It doesn't always work. It can backfire.
Yeah, and I think also you're attracting a particular type of client that you actually ultimately you have to ask yourself what's
yeah, that's right. And remember that A-class clients attract and recommend A-class clients.
Absolutely, I love that. Yeah, it really is like that, isn't it? It's like
it is, and you know, everyone deserves to be able to have services. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting anyone in certain categories, but when you discount too far, then you're asking for trouble. Yeah,
I completely agree, and I would love for you to let us know what value did you get out of this little conversation that we had, because we'll have more, and share with us what type of conversations you would like us to have, because you know it's these conversations that you can just draw something from that takes you into what's next for you, and never ever undervalue what you do for people in the world, and that doesn't have to be an egoic value. I'm talking about a deep heart-centered value. Really go into the core of your offering and get to understand your client. What does she, the one that you're looking for, what does she really want from you? And then go get her and deliver. Yeah. It's beautiful being with Daniela again, and we're going to do this again. We could talk all day, you know that.
We could.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being with us once again, and we will be back with more, I'm sure. Don't forget to comment. Bye.
Thank you for having me again, Elle.
Welcome.